Hello, my friends. Brian King here. Thanks for being here, and more importantly, thanks for being you. This is the inaugural, if you want to call it that way, how am I going to say this? This is the inaugural broadcast of my new podcast. Now, those of you that are seeing it live are seeing it as opposed to hearing it, because I'm recording this on Facebook Live. It's probably the quickest way to get content out there and begin a conversation about it. So what I suspect I'm going to be doing moving forward is broadcasting on Facebook Live first, and then doing all of the wonderful back-end editing work in order to turn it into something that is far more consumable over iTunes and so forth. So those of you that are watching right now, thank you for being on board. I really appreciate it. So let's jump right into the topic. I was having a conversation with someone recently who was really beating up on himself because of what he considered to be the bullshit thinking, the stories, the lies he told himself, and he felt kind of beneath what his own standard is. He was belittling himself. And what I shared with him, and what I'm going to share with you right now, is a much more useful way of seeing the bullshit stories that we create for ourselves. Because the reality is, if we think of something that we resent, something that we feel shameful about, is that something we're really going to spend a lot of time working on, or are we going to resist it at every possible turn? Right? We're going to resist it. So what I encouraged him to do is look at our own bullshit through this lens. Realize that it's there, the BS, that is. It's there to protect us. It tells us stories that prevent us from feeling ashamed, from feeling inferior, from feeling insulted. So we'll rationalize, we'll deny, we'll suppress. All of those natural mental, call them defenses, are all in service of keeping us safe. And they do a very good job. So I would consider confronting or facing your own bullshit as a very compassionate act towards yourself. And this is how this compassion would sound. You would say, "Yep, there's one of those stories again. And I want to thank you for giving me that story, because that just tells me you're looking out for me. It tells me that whatever part of my brain is in there is saying, hey, Bri, I don't want you to hurt. I don't want your heart to be broken. I don't want you to feel insulted. So I'm going to give you some bullshit to kind of sugarcoat things." But you're at a different place now. You're wanting to confront the reason your brain is telling you these lies. What are you not confronting? What are you not allowing? Because you and I both know that it's only by letting ourselves experience some of that disappointment, that blame, that fear, that allows us to build that emotional muscle that makes us stronger. So it's necessary to go there. And when you go there enough, this is what you realize. There's no hurt. There's no insult. There's nothing to offend. There's just our ego telling us how things should and shouldn't be. And that's how we hurt ourselves. Plain and simple. The bullshit is camouflage. It's mythical. It's protecting us from our own mental story about the way things should be. So when you really do the work, when you really learn to be resilient, to no longer concoct these stories of it should be this way, it shouldn't be that way, that creates this fear, upset, offense to begin with. But you can only learn those lessons and develop those skills if you face the fear in the first place. So tell your bullshit that its time has come to part ways. It served a wonderful purpose for protecting you all these years. But now in order for you to grow that muscle, to be stronger and more resilient, you can't really use the bullshit anymore. And that's one of the things that I've really committed myself to working with over the past 20-some years is I refuse to bullshit myself. It doesn't mean that it doesn't slip in every now and then. Because if things can come at us so quickly that we become overwhelmed, the bullshit is automatic. The stuff just flies up. But when you catch yourself doing it, that's when you can say, all right, I see what you're doing here. I see how you're trying to protect me. Thank you for protecting me now, But you and I are going to have a conversation later when I'm ready to deal with this. And then I'll ask you to pull back the shade of bullshit ever so slightly so that I can begin to deal with these things and build my muscle. Because I'm going for resilience here. I'm not going for denial. So this is some food for thought for you folks. I hope this is really, really helpful to you. Of course, this is just the tip of the iceberg. And considering the fact that bullshit, as it were, is an abundant resource in the human mind, I think we'll be coming back to this from time to time. So I am now going to go and do a little back-end editing so that this is much more of a podcast sounding kind of thing. And then when it's out there, ready to listen to, I will make sure to share it at the same place you're watching it right now so you can toss it around to your friends and whoever might benefit from it. So, in the meantime, thank you for being here. I love you dearly, and thanks for being you. Talk again soon.